Hey, Joe, how you doing? Happy Thursday night, everybody.
Hope you're having a lovely evening, guys. Hope you had a great Thursday. We're here once again for yet another Thursday night live stream, as is the usual. Hope you all had a wonderful one. Got Travis right away. I've traded Joey's boy Martin and Big J, Men Fisher for Gordon and Billings. Oh, he's gone and got
That's
Billings.
Yeah,
That's all right.
it's all right. Zach Fisher's in the bin. It was a good experiment for 1 week, but even if McKercher's scoring drops a little bit, I'm so happy that I brought him in over Zach Fisher. It's just going to work out a lot better for us, I think, in the long run. And, that's all we want, really.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. G'day, Shawnee. How's it going, mate? Thanks for coming on.
What's up, Sean?
Jeez, I'm actually keen for some carnage this week. Let it happen, boys. Oh, more carnage than we already got at the moment, jeez.
I was talking to Joe off air before the video started, and I was like, mate, I would be so happy if a couple of very, very well high-priced mid-prices that aren't currently in my team, if they decided to take a week or two off, I think Supercoach would be very, very interesting come round 2.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea, honestly, what I'm supposed to do. Like, if a Bonner pops off with Sinclair in the team, it just becomes, holy crap, how do I get this guy in? So
yep, definitely.
It becomes really difficult because at the moment I am missing one good fieldable option in the midfield. So it does make things really bizarre. I don't know if getting rid of Billings to get him in might be a bit stupid, but we'll see. Blues fan, how's it going? Thanks for coming on, mate. Zach Stewart wants you to put the C on Hogan, Big J. Do it for the culture, mate.
Oh, mate, it's going to be an interesting one. I really hope Hogan ends up being a keeper because I just love the pick. Alongside someone who I'm currently planning on bringing in next week, just makes things fun. I just don't know. I said in the Discord, I said on the video yesterday, I'm not a big fan of leaving the last game for your captain because more often than not, it doesn't work out. So, yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one there.
Yeah, I agree. His injury history isn't the most reliable either. So who knows?
Don't say injury history, though. Don't talk about injuries. I'm sorry, mate. Just don't do it.
Just to scare you, mate. That's all. Kevin, how's it going? Kevin, thanks for coming on. West Coast Eagles rule. Good afternoon from the best side of the country, lads. Oh, is that southeast side? Not west side, surely.
Yeah.
Jay's also been reported that Will Brodie is on the team plane. Might be sub to rest Fife if it's a smashing. Watch out, Fife. That's what I was telling Big J on the way in before this one. I saw Will Brodie and I'm like, oh, 2 back-to-back 6-day breaks. I can totally see.
Why would they rest Fife if North? Joe, why would they rest Nat Fife if North Melbourne are smashing them? Surely they need to keep him playing.
Right. Right. Tommy, how's it going, mate? Thanks for coming on.
Oh.
Hoops. I'm sorry, Joe. Bro, don't apologize to me. I've done the same. I have done the same. Both Martin and Fisher are out for me. I'm done. Dan, how's it going, Dan? Much love to the Frio Tragic. Doing really well. As you can see, I'm sneaking in some bites of food here and there as I'm talking, but doing very, very well. We hit 2K subscribers last night, so how could we possibly not be doing well? A massive, massive thank you to all of you guys for subbing, liking, commenting, joining us here on the live streams. It's been an absolute blast. You guys make it worth it. As we've lost Big J. As we lose him, I think he might have just arrived home, potentially. Oh, he's back. Is he back?
Yeah, I'm here. I think there's like a dead spot on the way home, and every time we start talking, I drive through there. Plop, that's it. So something to look out for. But yeah, I was just asking Joe, why would Frio end up resting Fife if they're getting smashed? Surely they'd
Because
want to keep one of their best players in.
he's one of the oldest players as well, and they've got back-to-back 6-day breaks. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And why else would they bring Brody along? He's an inside mid. He can't play anywhere else but midfield.
Apparently half the team's on the plane. Do you see that? Like Carl Wagner, even though he's injured, is coming, and then a bunch of other people are coming as well. So I reckon half the team's just here. Maybe like there's a Taylor Swift concert or something on that isn't going to Perth, and they're all jumping on the plane just to go see something.
The two players we could least afford to lose for serious chunks of time, Flynn and Allen, Nick Minute. Oh my God. Yeah, I know. That sucks, West Coast Eagles rule. That is absolutely devastating, losing both of them, especially Oscar Allen. He's your best player. He's your captain. Thoughts and prayers with him in this tough time. Heaney and Billings. All right. So Martin and Fisher out for Heaney and Billings. Yeah, if you don't get Heaney now, you're not going to get him for a long time. It's now or never.
Yeah, and it sucks for Damien Stafford, who made us made us the Heaney video, Joe. And then he's like, "Oh, I can't get Heaney till after his bye," and I'm like, "Mate, Heaney's going to be 600K. Shit's not cheap."
Nah, not cheap at all. How did your boys score last weekend? It was in our team videos on the Sunday night, Trav. Kevin, plan for next 2 weeks. Out, Fisher, Martin, Young and Wines. In, Sheasel, Sarong, Billings, Massimo. What do you think, boys? And who to bring in this week, Sheasel or Sarong? I'll let you go first, Jez.
I think Sheasel's the best this week, just for the price as well. I think obviously that 170 that Sarong did is very, very good, but I don't know how unobtainable he's going to be. If Sheasel comes out and scores another massive score, we could end up having to, Sheasel could easily be 60, 70, 80K more expensive, but I don't think you'll really get that from Sarong, especially early on.
Yeah, Sarong's 621. Sheasel is 556. And I think the difference between, I know we've been saying all preseason long that to be a keeper in defense, you don't have to average as much as a keeper in the midfield. However, when you look at the defensive premiums, the top liners, they average, there's a gulp. There is a gap between the top scorers in defense and the rest. So if you don't have the best premiums in the back line, you are losing points a lot in the back line compared to others. Whereas in the midfield, there are so many different players that can go 115 plus on a regular basis that your combination in the midfield can vary greatly. But in the back line, you need all of Dacos, Young, you need Dacos, Sheasel, Stewart, Houston. Like these types of players are absolutely top of their line. And the rest average at least like 5 to 10 points less.
Oh, more.
Or more, I mean. Correct. Sorry. Yes. Correct. So I think if you can get Sheasel in this week, I reckon get Sheasel if you can.
Yeah. I think as well with another good point to make is our backlines are so depleted with like already there being 2 injuries that filling up one of those spots and stopping that from having to be an upgrade target on your field makes a big difference, right? Versus your midfield where you can basically rock your mid prices until, round 6, 7, and 8 without like budging an eyelid. So I know which one I'd rather get rid of. Would you rather have a dead rookie on your bench or on field in your back line? Or would you rather put a good scoring player there? You can cover a midfielder a lot easier, I think.
Oh, 100% you can. I'm just trying to pull up the defensive premiums from last year.
Mm.
All right, and then
I think they're scoring. I think they're going to be scoring a lot more. I think at least the consensus across a few people, which I believe is correct, is that the game's moving a lot faster off halfback, even more than last year, and the ruckmen maybe aren't scoring the huge numbers like we've had in the past. So what that's causing is that, like, these defenders, you might have some players this year who are averaging a 120 in the back line, which just has never happened before. It's always like, cool, or 115, we're happy. It's pretty bonkers.
Because you look at last year, top 6, 116, 114, 113, 109, close to 110, 106, and 106.
Yeah.
Then you got your 7th at 100, and then 99.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So your top 6 defenders, they're putting on points. And if you don't have these guys, it's just going to cause you to lose out on at least 6 points between the next best, 7 points, 8 points. The further down you go, the chasm just gets bigger and bigger. So nailing your top defenders is really important in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
And yes, Zach, Ryan is absolutely, as long as Ryan is healthy and he's playing games, then yes, he's going to be a top 6 defender.
100%. 100%. And one of the things to realise too is that there's 18 teams in the AFL, and everyone's got at least 1 or 2 good halfbacks. So there's going to be a lot of defenders who are scoring very, very well for us this year, over some midfielders especially.
Oh, 100%. I think we've got some incredible scores coming out of our backline this year, and I don't want to miss them. Players like Sheasel pumping out 130s, like nobody's business. Chris,
you don't want to miss him, Mo?
Yeah, I don't want to miss him. I know. Bringing in Draper from Freo. Nah, not yet, bro. Not yet. Nah. He has to play 3.
No chance. No chance. I see a few people potentially doing something like that, or a Carl Warner who got injured last game for a Zach Reed, because I know definitely Reed's not in my calculations. And I think there's a few players who we're really going to be downgrading because of the early buys, right? Like, a lot of people are looking at, cool, maybe I'm going to downgrade a Cadman in a couple of weeks, things like that. So it's keep an eye out for a Clay Hall, for a few of these other players who might come in this week or next week. They'll end up being our downgrade targets come around 5-6.
Yeah, exactly. So take it easy on Draper. No need to go into him straight away. He's just on his debut, going super early on someone who's going to probably be playing key defender. So far, we've seen what our key defenders have done in the back line, Gibcus and Reed. So not entirely sure if we want to bring in another sort of key defender into the side, but definitely wait on him.
Which is where I think the idea of having stacked our backlines at the start of the season for round 1 would have been the smartest thing to do. So get rid of all those players. You can just ride a Howes and Hall for the next 8 weeks or so, and make sure you've got no one else. Like, everyone else should be a Massimo or above level type player from then on. They're just too good.
Draper averaged 36 fantasy points in the junior. Not a chance. He's a good super coach pick. The thing is, Dan, the spoils can be weighted pretty well from a super coach perspective. And when we look at someone, I don't know, like a Pink, for example, if we look at Pink, I mean, Pink did all right in the practice game.
How old is Draper though, Joe? There's a difference between a 24-year-old player who's the best fullback in the sandful versus an 18-year-old kid who's never touched a footy on the AFL field before.
He's 20 years old. No need to make him any younger than he is.
He didn't look 20 in his debut photo. Looked like he was still in preschool.
All right, calm down, calm the farm. Cheese, I've been trying my hardest to keep Martin, as his role is actually elite, but I need the cash. It's driving me nuts. It's Friday, and I still have
Yep.
no idea what I'm doing. Technically, it's Thursday, Cheese. It's not
That's
just
true,
it's
it
not
is Thursday.
Friday just yet. But I understand what you're talking about. It's pretty tough.
Next,
Go.
trade Nick Martin next week. Trade him next week. Fix your rookie problems now, and then next week is the time when you come in and you start sidewaysing a Nick Martin and like another rookie or someone else on field for some decent like mid-pricer scores. That's what you do. This week you fix your rookies. Everyone knows which ones you should be putting in. Next week is cool. I've got Nick Martin and a Jai Clark or someone like that. Cool, I can chuck in 2 mid-prices. That's when you start to do those type of trades. We can all survive an extra week of Nick Martin. There's no need to just chuck him in the bin straight now.
Correct.
Unless you're going to like a Harry Sheet. A Harry Sheet's worth it.
Exactly. I need a premium. In my back line, and that's going to be Sheasel, and I need the money somehow. So that's why he's out for me. Does Livingston play this weekend? Probably not. No.
I don't think he for a long time.
I think there's a bunch of players ahead of Livingston, Travis. We've picked him to be a loophole for
Just
us.
Remember, though, Just remember, though, that it is bye rounds week. So if for some way Livingston gets picked, we can still get like a Zach Williams and make him captain for the week because his score only counts. He's only locked out at the last game of the weekend, so you don't have to worry as much.
Yeah, 100%. Where else am I going? Thoughts on the trades? I think we said yes to that, Hoops. Jacob, how's it going, Jacob? Would it be a good idea to make Gawn captain for this week? I've currently got the Bont as captain.
From memory, Gawn doesn't do that well against the Hawks, or the Hawks are pretty good at nullifying opposition ruckmen because they generally run 2 and they'll push them around. And I don't think Ned Reeves is as much of a pushover from memory. Obviously, I'm not in front of my computer at the moment, but that's what I remember.
Hawks tend to be restrictive against ruckman. They tend to do 25% less. So, yeah, Reeves is a mountain of a man. Having said that, apparently Max Gawn averages his highest amount of disposals against the Hawks. So if you think that we're going to see a Tim English type of game from Big Maxi, then you could chuck a VC on him. But I can't. I find it hard to go past Tom Green. If you have Tom Green, I find it hard to go past him against the West Coast Eagles. I mean, what can they possibly do to stop him?
Jimby.
I've gone Sarong as VC. Fair enough, Trev. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Hey, Jen.
I hope North Melbourne can shut him down.
Yeah. How are you feeling about tonight, Jen? Are you confident about your Pies getting the job done? It will be really interesting to see. Absolutely. Julian, how's it going, Jules? Walter starting at Gold Coast. Who goes out? Ooh, okay. Walter's in. So who comes out?
Who's Walter? Is he back? I thought he broke his collarbone and was going to be out for like 10 weeks.
Exactly. That is ridiculous. It took Cheese 45 years to heal from a collarbone. Next minute, this guy's back after like 2 weeks. I don't understand what they're feeding him over at Gold Coast Suns. That's ridiculous.
It's probably someone like a Levi Casbolt, to be honest. Like, they won't get rid of King. They won't get rid of any of the big players. It'll be a Casbolt or some rando-type player in the forward line. It shouldn't affect Tom Berry because they were talking about on the radio just how good he was. And he gets a lot of points and gets a lot of score involvements from his tackles. It's almost like a better version of a Kane Turner if there's any North Melbourne fans in the chat. Like just kind of his pressure and then pressure acts, which are the way that he gets a lot of that scores. Like I think in the first preseason game or round 0, he didn't necessarily have a lot of points. Sorry, didn't necessarily have a lot of touches, but got a lot of Supercoach points for those kind of things that aren't really recorded on a stat sheet.
Yeah, I don't know why the fixture page isn't popping up here for the AFL website. This is bananas to me. When I type in
Maybe
AFL,
it's crashed from all the maybe it's crashed from all the super coaches that are waiting for the team sheets to drop. I
potentially.
need my team sheet.
Spoils are high scoring this year, Andrews. Yeah, but Harris Andrews is one of the best defenders in the league.
Oh, of
It's
course,
very
yeah.
hard to compare Harris Andrews to a 20-year-old kid on debut.
Yeah.
Tommy, Martin, Fisher, and Clark, Tahini, Billings, and Berry.
You can do
That's
it.
really good.
You can do it. Depending on how many rookies you've got to fix, you can definitely do it.
I think that works. Personally, I think that works. I don't
Yep.
mind that at all. Especially if you already have Jordan, so that you've essentially got all of the bubble boys then this week. So, well done, Tommy. Good stuff. Hoops. What rookies are you talking about, Big J? Go around early.
So for myself, I don't have a McKercher. You could probably go early on a Dempsey. You could go early on a Marty Hoare, I think, as well. Or if you don't have Howes, chuck him in your team. There's a few of those type of players. Like, there's definitely a few rookies that look like they should be scoring 60s, 70s, and 80s that we need in our teams. And because mid prices are a lot more inflated in price, we need 2 weeks of guaranteed scoring to bring them in. It's partly why I'm not super keen on the Billings pick. Like, obviously, he's probably not going to score record best numbers, but if you get a 70, sure, you're happy. But, like, I wouldn't go early on a Bonner, for example, or a Massimo, which seems to be the number one choice for a lot of people. Yes, he did score that big number, but it's only in there for the first week, and we need, as super coaches, to get multiple weeks of good scoring for these guys before we can say, yep, definite position, definite role. We know what we're going to get. There's going to be huge price rises out of them. So fix your rookies. I'm a big advocate of spending 3 trades this week, so next week you don't have to spend 3 trades. Because of all the carnage and players coming in and out and everything already, we could end up having to be forced to spend 4 trades. And obviously we can't do that. So if you haven't brought in the right players this week, it could really hurt you next week. Missing out on someone who's going to make, 200K cash in the next 3 or 4 weeks can make or break a season almost, because you're just so far behind everyone else.
Yep. And it slows down your upgrade cadency as well.
Yeah.
Global. Hayden Young is a concern. Look, maybe, but I'm willing to back him in. I think Dan, Frio Tragic, if you're still in here, you can sort of quell Global's concerns. I think Hayden Young will still play midfield. I think they liked the midfield mix. They smashed the Lions, and he only was moved out because he needed to move him out. I don't think he wanted to move him out due to the injuries that they had at Frio in the game last week. And I'm pretty confident that they're going to keep him in the midfield mix where he's supposed to be. Plus, they've added Josh Draper to play as an extra defender now to replace some injury there. Cox was playing as a forward anyway, so that injury doesn't really affect him either. You've also got Clark, who is going to be playing. It looked like he was injured, but he's got up and playing. So I think they've got the personnel to cover the back line, and I think Young will continue to play in the mids.
And one of the big things as well is that even if he does become a bit of a flight risk, because we have such limited options in that back line, it's not like the midfield where there's 6 different mid prices that are scoring bonkers and you must put them in. There's no rush at the moment to offload a Hayden Young. It's not like a few of these other picks where you kind of have to. So just something to consider for all us super coaches at the moment, that, hey, look, even if Hayden Young comes back and starts getting 90s, yes, he might drop a tiny bit in cash, but it's not the end of the world versus like a Nick Martin doing the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, we look here at the comments from Longmuir in his presser. They've got replacements for Cox and McDonald. Draper's going to come in. We look at there's as you can see, there's a bunch of players. It's a balancing act wanting to maintain the rage in the midfield with Young and Jacko. So they do want to maintain the rage in the midfield. They want to leave Hayden Young in the midfield. They do want to leave Jackson in the ruck. And that's why they haven't named Reedy. So I think they're coming out to implement the game style that really worked for them last week. And that is keeping Young around the ball. And I'm pretty confident he's not going to have 11 clangers. That's absurd. That's absolutely absurd. So,
I think he gave away. Did he give away 4 free kicks or something as well, or is that Grundy? I remember he gave away quite a few free kicks.
Yeah, so he'll be fine.
Yeah. It's not happening again. Yeah.
Martin 15, Gipkiss in Houston, Billings, and Berry. Oh, Houston, Billings, and Berry. I assume you already have Jordan, which is why you're not getting him in. Yeah, I'm not against it at all, to be honest.
You know what I hate, Joe? I hate Liam Ryan.
What?
You know why I hate Liam Ryan? Because Liam Ryan is 6'11"K. It's so hard to get 6'11"K as
in Luke Ryan.
Like before we have like cash increases. It's so hard to get that money that like people that have him, and no one else can really get him in.
He's talking about Luke Ryan, guys, not Liam Ryan.
No, not Liam. You know what I mean.
Talk is Jack Williams will come in for Oscar this week. Interesting. Jen, Green captain against West Coast for me. Yes, I agree. I'm doing the exact same. Looks like Shawnee Baker also doing the same. However, West Coast Eagles rule. He only got 100 last year. Who is this? Is this about? If this is about Tom Green, Tom Green last year against North Melbourne only scored 77, and yet last week he went 152. So I wouldn't be concerned about. I think during the middle of the season last year, we saw a downward decrease as Tom Green went into a little bit of a slump middle of the season. But this year, he started like a house on fire. So he more than doubled how he performed last year against North Melbourne last week. So, yeah, Tom Green's looking in red hot nick. I'm really keen to see how he goes. Plus, the ruck contest between Briggs and BJ Williams is going to be absolutely unreal. So, if Dacos goes under 130, I'm not taking it. I need Dacos to go over 130. I need him to go 135 plus almost. Because of what's going to happen here. So it's going to be insane.
The big thing as well is that you look at Tom Green from last year, as Joe was saying, like around the time when he had those slump scores, I think it was close to when they worked out that that Briggs was the better ruckman, and then he came in, and then like the scoring kind of jumped up quite far as well. So yeah, like the GWS team came home like a brick house, but starting off the season, during the middle wasn't that great for them, I think.
Look at the venues against last year, Tassie, this year at home. I guess, but I do think that his other games. I mean, he played. I think he played at home against Richmond and only scored an 89. Like which is ridiculous. Like he definitely was having a slump at this point of the season. There is no doubt about it. He had a bit of a slump. You can see it. Like because we know that Richmond give up a lot of points to midfielders, and yet he only scored 89 at home, which is ridiculous. It just doesn't make any sense. So for me, I have no concerns about Tom Green coming into this year. He loves to start strong, and this year is his strongest start for his whole entire career. Thank you very much, West Coast Eagles. I appreciate the concern. However, I don't think I'm not concerned. If you are, then fair enough. You have some reasoning behind it, and you can back in your guts. Back it in, mate.
And the big thing with Supercoach as well, right? I'll say this now, is that as much as we give advice and as much as everything, you're only accountable to your own team. No one else can really get the scores that you score every week. And if you do well, no one else gets those as well, right? So what happens is, cool. You think something's going to go a certain way, make it happen in your team. Don't worry about, like, as Joe says, whatever anyone else says, because if your team scores well, cool. If your team doesn't score well, cool. So, yeah, just something to think about.
100%. 100%. Jesse Hogan, my captain this week. Is it risky?
It's tricky, right? I'm okay with Jesse Hogan being a vice captain, but like it just comes down to last game of the week. You've got 8 other games to pick your captain and vice captain from. It tends for me to be the week that like something bad happens. So I would hate to pick like, oh, Jesse Hogan's there, and then not that he gets injured, but just like, oh, he gets kind of nullified by some rando player or something happens, and then, that's it. And cool. Everyone else got like a 150, 130, whatever, and you've got a 120 because you left it to the last game. So, yeah. Just seems to happen a bit.
Look, key forwards against North and inside mids against North are bellissimo. If you feel in your heart of hearts, Nathan, that we've got another big game from Jesse Hogan coming this week, obviously it's risky. Yes. The fact that you're asking us, is it risky? You already admit that there is an element of risk to it. However,
there's huge risk.
However, if it works, then to the moon. Stonks, bro. Stonks. For this, it's hit or miss. It's go hard or go home. And if you feel in your heart of hearts that this is going to work out, there are other options out there which are safer. Yes. But you're picking him fully knowing that this could blow up in your face. You know it. But if you decide to go ahead with it, you've made a conscious decision and you shouldn't regret it. Because imagine if he does pop off at 200 this week and you didn't back in your gut. You would feel the regret so much. If you go with him as captain and it blows up in your face, then you'll laugh it off and you say, yeah, that was dumb. That was risky. Shouldn't have done it. It is what it is. But if it does pop off, then you are walking around on cloud 9.
Yeah.
Is what I reckon.
I think so too.
Hogan may well find it tough with Barras and McGovern. I think it depends on the midfield, Trav. If they're hitting him up for leads and if they're just the domination from the midfield is so strong, then potentially they might not be able to overcome it. Berry averaged 85 in the VFL for the Lions. Ooh, that's pretty good. Berry, if that's the case, then he could give us consistent 60s. And if he does that, then he might make you around 120K, which is still good. That's a successful trade, in my opinion. Interesting. If he didn't have the bye next week, I reckon I'd do it in a heartbeat. Is just what I reckon. I'm feeling confident in your pies. Fair enough. Julian, bring Billings or Jordan? I think Jordan's role is better, Jules. I think Jordan has shown. I mean, Jordan also had quite a few center bounces. If we look at last week, James Jordan. If you look at his CBAs from last week, 46% CBAs. Now, obviously, that sort of percentage isn't going to stick around when obviously Cavalry returns into that midfield mix.
Yeah.
But he looks really good. He was on track for about 100 odd last week. I think he was on 50 or something at halftime, but still, like, he's gone back-to-back 80s now against two very tough opposition in Melbourne and Collingwood. He's then got the dream run of Essendon, Richmond, West Coast. Hard to see him not back up 80s. And if he continues doing 80s, then you're missing out on a sensational cash cow. So I think if you had to pick only one, I'd say it's definitely Jordan.
Yeah. And it's just fun to scream Jordan every week too. Jordan! Every time he gets the ball, It's like Heaney. You scream out, Heaney! Every time Heaney does something good, right? It's the same thing.
Yeah. Nah, Heaney's different, bro. Heaney hits different. What are you talking about? You can't compare Heaney to Jordan. Come on, man.
What do you mean? I can compare everyone.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
That's like my next player that I'm going to bring in next week. If my plans don't change, you're going to be screaming out his name every week too when he kicks a few goals.
Skik, how's it going, Skik? Should I go Reed straight up to Mass or Fisher straight up to Heaney?
Well, we know which one's on the bubble and which one's not on the bubble. So I know which one that I know which one you should be picking. It's the one on the bubble. That's just my opinion anyway. But Heaney's got like a 140 average. Massimo has not even scored a 140 in total so far.
Heaney. He's like He-Man. It's Heaney.
He-Man.
Master of the universe. 144. 144 against Melbourne. 136 against Collingwood. What the hell is he going to do to us this week? Oh, no. Like, I'm going to enjoy, as an owner of Heaney, I'm going to obviously enjoy watching Heaney pop off this week, right? But at the same time, I'm going to watch him torch my Bombers, which is going to be very tragic. Very, very tragic. So, yeah, I reckon get Heaney in, boys. Heaney is the man. Heaney is the man. He's a keeper. And he's a keeper. Look what he's done for a lot of his career. 96.7, 96.1, 94, 94, yeah, 84, 97.5. Like, this is keeper status. In our forward line, this is keeper for sure.
Yeah. It is. And the coach wants to keep him in the midfield, so that's another keeper for us.
Big J, I have all of those. So if I get Dempsey or Hoare and they're dropped or get injured next week, I blame you.
Okay, go for it, mate. We're good.
Blame him.
But the thing is, though, right? Like, they would have to have incredibly shocking games this week for them to get dropped, because you look at their scoring and it's just massive. Like they're on fire. So something drastic has to happen. It's not like a Massimo or someone who has only had one week in there and overinflated price.
Yeah. Hayden, I don't have James Jordan, but I do have Fife, McKercher, Hogan, Roberts, Cadman, Berry, Sexton, Howes, Wilson. Wow, well done. Very nice, Hayden. Very nice. If you've got a fish, then you can just shoot it in the head and get James Jordan in, and you'd be very happy. Dan, I think everyone should jump off Young. He's a spud.
It's funny you say that. It's funny you say that because people will jump off him. I think Nick Martin's a bit more risky. As I said, the mid prices in the midfield seem to be scoring quite well. But James Jordan, sorry, not James Jordan, Hayden Young, a lot of people are going to jump off him. And if he comes out and scores like a 110 this week, watch out.
Get around him. Get around him. Jen, James Jordan or Hogan in for harms? JJ for me.
You have to pick Hogan.
You have to pick Hogan?
I don't know. It's a tricky one. I'll have both this week. But potential keeper versus not potential keeper, but then you bank like 200K. So it's a real tricky question, Jim.
I'd lean JJ for me personally, because it's not much of an investment difference to go from Harms to Jordan. It's pretty easy to sideways. Plus, he's someone that you can field. Should give you regular 80s. Yeah, he won't give you 160s, right? But he'll give you regular 80s. You are paying essentially around about half the price. So you should be fine with getting half the performance, right? That's still fair. So, and then that money that you get, you can then put elsewhere to bolster your field. Because ultimately, if getting in Hogan is going to disrupt your team balance and structure, then I wouldn't do it. I think James Jordan allows you to not have to make drastic changes to your list, whilst also still keeping you with enough money to then be able to do other things elsewhere.
Too smart there, Joe.
Thank you. Freddie. How's it going, Freddie? What
up?
defender rookie would you be going for to replace Gipkiss, as I got no DPP?
Do you have Hoare and I assume you've got Hoare and Holmes. It is the right way to go.
He's currently looking at Koff, but may go early on Draper.
I wouldn't go early on Draper. Caulfield if you have to. I wouldn't go early on Draper. Depending on who you have as a mid-pricer, I would look to maybe upgrade to another mid-pricer in your team. I think that's the way to go, because there's no one else really there. And that's why I say it comes down to, that's probably why it's worth keeping a Hayden Young just for now, because there really isn't anyone. Like, most of the competition are going to have Zach Williams, D'Ambrosio for the next, like, however long, plus Hoare and House, because there just isn't good defenders at the moment. So something to really be careful of, I think.
Yeah, that's been my problem too, Freddie. I just haven't identified any other good rookies that we can sideways to. Like, I thought we had so many, Gipkiss and Reed, plus the two Melbourne boys, but both Gipkiss and Reed are down. So all of a sudden, it doesn't look like we've got an abundance of riches in the back line. So for me, I just did the double downgrade of the mid prices in order to get Gipkiss up to a premium in cheese. So that could be a move that you make, because I don't even know about Caulfield's job security. They didn't look great in that back line. Him and Buku Karmis and Liam Jones, they got shredded. They got torn apart by a pretty crap forward line for Melbourne as well. So I don't know if they're going to make any changes, but yeah, I'd try and get him up. I'd try and get him up to a primo if you can.
Well, one of the things as well, I'll kind of give a bit of a sneak preview unless my plans change, but Zach Reed annoys me so much that I'm almost considering putting Dacos in the midfield. And then when a good midfielder rookie comes along, just swapping him and Zach Reed and trading out Zach Reed that way, because there just isn't any good defenders. Like Gibcus for Massimo, and then I've got the next two highest scoring. And as Joe says, like Charlie Dean's just being dropped. What's to stop Caulfield being dropped because Caleb Daniel or someone else comes back? Like, cool, then we have two defender rookies. Like, and that's it. So yeah, it's a bit of a trouble at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. Chase, could we keep Young at D7, D8 for season if he ends up moving back, or would you trade? Could end up back in the mids.
I hope you end up keeping him as like a D6, to be honest, but you can always keep him for the whole thing. Then you might find a point where you have to offload him, or if he hits the bed and starts dropping like an 80 average, it could be worth spending a little bit of money. The problem with Hayden Young is that most people already have Sheasel, and there's no one else at a similar price point. Like the next best player, I think, is
Whitfield.
Houston, and it's 70K to get up. Like 70K is a decent amount.
There is Lockie Whitfield.
There is Lockie Whitfield, but Lockie Whitfield's going to be more expensive after this week. So, like, if he drops another 100, Lockie Whitfield's going to be close to 550K. So it's a bit tricky. It's a tough one. I would be trying to keep Hayden Young a little bit longer.
If he goes 106, he'll go up 20 and a half.
Yeah.
He'd still be 5. He'd still be under 540.
Yeah, that's fair. I think he's going to drop maybe a 115. So let's say he's 540. So you could do Hayden Young to him if you wanted to, really.
Yeah, I think so too. Good evening, Velo. How's it going,
What's
mate?
up, Velo?
Looks like Joe took a shortcut to get home again.
Yeah, I think Joe lives like 15 minutes from his house, and I'm a good 45 to an hour on a bad day. So
no, I live 0 minutes away from my house because I live in my house.
That's true.
I work. My work is not
house.
very far. Yes, my
work. You live in your house.
You said I live about 20 minutes away from my house. That's what you said.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah, as Dan says here, Longmuir wants to keep the midfield as it is. Young will be fine. He's still new to the role. I agree. Plus, we saw in the back end of last year, that's why we have him. That's why we have him. Like, we've seen what he's done, and I have no doubt in my mind that we're going to see games where Fife is managed. And you look at the end of the season last year. Oh, I'm going to make our faces smaller again. You look at this end of the year last year where he was playing in the center bounces. He went on and averaged 100 in those last 6 games. So he's capable. He's done it before in the past. And the reason why I have no issues with him over someone like a Nick Martin, because he has other avenues to score, even when he's in the midfield. He bumps up his tackles. Look at his tackles, 5, 10, 8, 7, 7, 10. He's a tackler. So I'm keen to see those tackle numbers again to continue to bolster his scoring. You're not going to take away someone of this pressure away from the midfield, I don't think. Luke Ryan. Liam Ryan, F1. Lachlan, I have Grundy and Jackson. I can trade Fisher out and Martin out and bring in Billings, more a player into mid, more Jackson to forward, and bring Gorn in. Is that worth it? I'm tired from reading that, Lachlan.
You gave Joe a headache.
I've read a lot of words today, and this one is a lot more words, but a lot of the words aren't meant to be in here. Fisher and Martin out. So Fisher's out, Billings in. Okay.
And then I think he wants to turn
a player.
Yeah, I think he wants to turn Nick Martin into Max Gorn. Is that a good idea? I think that's what we gauge at.
Nick Martin into Max Gorn is a good idea.
Yes. Okay. Cool. I think that's what ends up being it. He's going to turn Nick Martin into Max Gorn.
Very cool. Very, very cool. Velo out. Gibkis, Clark, and Grundy. Grundy out this week. Oh, he's had enough. Velo has had enough. He's seen enough from Spuddy. But hey, the way the Ruckman are going, 1 week good, 1 week shit. Guess what? This week, Grundy should do good, because last week he was shit. This week he must be good. They're taking turns. Let's have a look. How do Essendon do against Ruckman? Oh, we're actually very restrictive against Ruckman. Good to know.
I think team sheets are out.
Team sheets are out.
Team sheets are out.
All right. Teams. Is it teams?
Yep.
Yes. Excellent. All right. Now, we know Dacos is playing his 50th game. Congrats to him. We haven't heard enough about it, to be honest. Collard dropped. Crouch dropped. Sinclair in. Jones in. Riley Bonner, last person on the interchange. Would be absolutely hilarious if he's the sub. If he's the sub, that would be bellissimo if that was the sub.
He won't be the sub, but yeah, it'd be pretty funny.
Would be hilarious. Collingwood to win this game, yeah?
Yeah. I think I might have tipped St Kilda, to be honest.
He's changed his tip?
Yeah, I think Collingwood might go 0-3.
Very well. All right, next game. Crows v Geelong. Tanner Bruin injured. That's another reason why I'm pretty happy holding on to Clark. He's still named on the ball. You know what I mean? So
I hope it works out.
And Tanner Bruin was playing inside mid as well. So I just think that this is really good for Jai Clark. I can see a Jai Clark bounce back. All right, you guys can let me know if you think I'm a retard. But
the beautiful thing about a Jai Clark bounce back though is that because he's got the 13 in his fixture, you can almost get him a week late at this point. Like he misses out on a week's worth of scoring. So if he goes 13 and then like 75, the first price rise is only going to go up like 10K. 10 to 15K because the 3 round average is so low. So something to watch out for a little bit there.
Not if he pumps out a 90.
It's still not great.
It will be great. Believe me. It will be great. All right. Max Holmes on a wing, but we don't believe these. We don't believe this. And then on the other side, Gallant has been dropped, and obviously your boy Chris Burgess still keeps his spot in the side.
He's not my boy anymore. I got rid of him this week.
I know. I'm just kidding. But yeah, Tex Walker's in. That's huge. Crows get the win, yeah.
I picked the Crows at home. I think after last week, they're in. They've got something to prove, and I don't think they're going to be as much of a pushover.
Congrats, Tom Stewart, 150th game. It's ridiculous for someone who's achieved so much. They've only played 150 games. Is just absurd. So well done, Tom Stewart, one of the greats, and congrats to Lockie Murphy as well. 100 games. Well done. All right, your boys. Oh, mate, we got to move our faces because there's so many names happening here for Freo.
Yeah, Lazaro keeps his spot, which I thought was quite interesting.
Yes.
Liam Shields missing as the sub isn't great. I guess Lazaro still could be like moved as the sub. But yeah, one of those guys potentially. I don't think Lazaro plays half forward over like an Eddie Ford or a Paul Curtis. So those people that still have Lazaro need to be a little bit worried. But yeah, we'll see what happens there. No Liam Reedy, as someone in the chat said, Mr. Ian over here. No Liam and no Reedy. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, Burgess Holder's nice. Yeah, exactly. But Big J does not care about it. Nathaniel, he doesn't care about it. Meanwhile, for Freo, Draper in is wonderful. O'Meara is in. I can probably see O'Meara as the sub, to be honest. I wouldn't be surprised if O'Meara is the sub out of these guys. And then he'll come in for a Fife type, I reckon. Like for like. Walker's coming in. Draper's coming in. Yeah, I reckon, despite Head and Young being named here at halfback, I'm confident that the additions of Walker and Draper mean that Young is actually still going to be playing in the midfield.
Yeah, probably.
I'm pretty confident about that. So if you're a Young holder, be happy about that because they've brought in 2 defenders to replace the 2 injured defenders here, which is great.
Someone who's a defender from this Melbourne game, which I'm not super happy about, is Marty Hawes on the interchange, Joe. And I don't know if it's going to be a Caleb Windsor interchange, but yeah, it does not boast well for the BFL selection this year. So hopefully he's not interchange. The only thing is, I can't see a world where he is because he only plays backline. I think interchanges now have to be someone who's a little bit more multi-dimensional. So maybe it's Tom McDonald, maybe a Petty or even a Caleb Windsor ends up being the interchange because Marty Hall can only play intercept defender. So if they lose a forward, well, Marty Hall being there isn't going to do anything for them. So
I think. Yeah, and I mean, who is he going to be named on field ahead of? Not ahead of the Rivers, Lever, Salem, May, McVee. Like these are all established players. I wouldn't be. But Jack Billings on the ball. Let's go. Get him in, ladies and gentlemen. Get him in.
It's Jack a bit scary because I don't have Jack Billings in my team at the moment, so I'm a little bit worried. I'm a little bit worried.
Lock. Get him in, ladies and gentlemen. Get him in. I love it. Where is Windsor? Okay, Windsor's on the bench.
The beautiful thing is that a lot of my team is going to be dictated what happens in the first game of the week. So depending on what happens there, then we go from there.
Look where Mass is named.
Well, there you go. Yeah, I mean, where else is he going to play?
He's a winger.
The big thing is that James Sicily is actually named with Sam Frost, and that's it. They don't really have anyone else, I think. So he's going back to not being able to intercept role. So it's not great.
I mean, why would they? I mean, you look at the Melbourne forward line. is very underwhelming. I can ignore them to not worry about what's it called, having more key defenders there. But but Freddie's asking, is Laz a trade? Nah. If he's the sub, then maybe.
Yeah, if he's the sub, then maybe. But we'll find out. You'll just have to keep an eye out for it now before the game, really. That's it. Throw
Exactly.
40K at getting Billings or 60K at getting a Billings or someone.
Mate.
Or go straight to Windsor. If Laz is the sub, just go straight to Windsor. Like, you'll be okay. Yeah. And you'll actually bank like 4K in the bank.
Yeah. Hoops, we're kidding. Hoops, I promise you, we're kidding. Billings is absolutely not playing on the ball. You should know by now. We've been saying this all along. Team sheets don't mean sheet, all right? Yeah. Team sheets, where players are named, you don't worry about it whatsoever. It's just interesting to see who's been dropped, who's not. If you're on the interchange, then you're likely to be a sub. How does that affect the players on the field? But there's no way in the world is Jack Billings playing on the ball. We're just kidding about that. He's not actually good. It's absolutely Clayton Oliver. What is Clayton? I don't know what Goodwin was thinking. I know it doesn't matter where you name them, but why the disrespect to name Clayton Oliver on the bench? That's just very disrespectful. Unbelievable. Goodwin's a flog. I hate Goodwin. All right. We move to this game. Oh, this is going to be scary to see. Laverde is in. All right. Makes sense. We lost Reed. Draper. Big Sammy. This is the real Draper here. The real Draper. All right. So we're playing the 2 ruck setup. DP3. We're winning. We're winning. And Nick Hind as well. We're winning. And Harrison Jones is dropped. We're winning. We're winning. I'm changing my tip. Where's the AFL tipping? Where's the tipping? We're winning. All right? We're freaking winning. Give me the tips. Change this tip. It's the Bombers, all right? It's the Bombers. The Bombers save the changes. Bombers are beating the Swans, all right? Get out of here.
Put some money on it, Joe.
I'm not a betting man. I'm not a gambling man. But, mate, still tipping us to lose by 30? Nah, get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. We've got Darcy Parish and Draper in. This team, all of a sudden, completely transforms. Sydney Swans on a high. They think they're top shit. All they did was beat Melbourne at the SCG. We beat Melbourne, so that's no big deal. And they beat the Pies, who have looked absolutely horrendous to start this year. Those are 2 overrated wins. We are going to go up there, punch them in the face, mate.
Who knows?
Yes, please. 100%, mate. We're getting this win. No Redmond, so no stupid shit on field. Guelphy is as inconsistent as ice cream that's about to go off. And Harrison Jones might as well not even be playing. Because Harrison Jones is such a non-factor in our games. We're always playing 1 man down. And then last week, we were playing 2 men down because Nick Martin kept giving the ball to Hawthorn. So now we're finally going to be playing on a level playing field. Get around us. We're going to win. And well done, Jay Kelly. Congratulations on the win. Up and down, Jack. You just got over the Hawks. Mate, you got to win any way you can. Spud and Dud come in. Put the pipe down, Joe. Mate, come on, man. At least try. Guys, try and get some positive vibes with no Reed or Red when you're delusional. Who had a beer? No drinking. Completely sober and celibate. Don't you worry about that. Come back to me next week. If we lose, then if we get pumped, then fine. All right. I'll wear the pie on my face, the egg on my face, whatever it's called. But if we win, I expect donations, mate, in our next live stream. All right.
Oh, that's a bit hard.
Mate, they're ripping into me. They're calling me delusional. They're telling me to put down the pipe. Mate, it's gonna happen. All right. Doggies v Suns. Jeez, a lot of changes. Oh, yes, that's right. Roses was suspended. So that's a forward down.
So that's probably where maybe Walter comes in.
I'm positive Swans will flog Essendon. That's my positivity. You're funny. You're funny. Oh, post night.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Jed Walters out.
Roasting me.
Jed Walters in because Malcolm Roses is out. I think they're just basically playing the same position on the field.
Yep. Darcy McPherson as the subs dropped. Sam Closey. I don't even know where Sam Closey plays. I don't know anything about this guy.
Who knows?
Sam Closey, Mac Andrew. Oh, Mac Andrew's a really good player. Get him in. Ben Long. Is this a Sunday game? Yeah, this is extended list. So these aren't final changes. These aren't final. Is Jed Walter on field? All right, Jed Walter is on field, so you can back him in to play.
If you lose Joe this week, full
Bro,
Sydney kit.
I'll look like the biggest dipshit anyway. Like having backed in my boys on a live stream in front of 84 people that we're going to win. I mean, what more punishment do you want? I'm going to be an Essendon Nuffy, bro. Are you kidding me? That's a pretty bad punishment there. So, yeah, Jed Walter's playing. Rory Atkins interchange. Ben Long interchange. Mac Andrew interchange.
I'll be back.
Sam Closey also interchange. Yeah, sure. All right. So it looks like of these, only Jed Walter is confirmed to be in. Meanwhile, for the Doggies, Bevo still refuses to even mention the name McRae. Even McRae, the great McRae, can't even make it onto an extended interchange. That is just disgusting. Can McRae please request a trade somewhere else? Because that is horrific. Caulfield is on field. You're right, Freddie. Congratulations. He keeps his spot. So he's very likely to keep his spot. Sam Darcy is still interchange. Okay, not confirmed. Oscar Baker, Taylor Duray. Yeah, that Caleb Daniels sub was insane. 100%, Tommy. Honestly, Bevo is completely off his rocker. He's got no idea what's going on, bro. Like, honestly, I can coach better than he can. All right, and that's saying something because I can't even coach my own super coach team, let alone. Bevo is the worst coach ever. Facts. McRae asked for mid-season trade to Collingwood. yeah. If that was happening this year, mid-season trade, then it would absolutely have already happened by now, for sure. Trust me, all 84 of us are telling our mums. You're a funny one, Jack. You're a funny one. Refresh paid subs have been named. All right, I shall do that. But the subs are really only for tonight's game. And Bonner is not the sub, from what I can tell. Zach Jones is the sub. Okay. So that is actually really good for Bonner, in my opinion. Because if Zach Jones has come in and Brad Crouch has been dropped, I think that means Sinclair is going to be playing midfield. And then Zach Jones gets put on as a sub and gets activated. So that's... And Finn McRae, 150K. No thanks. But yeah, this could be pretty good for Bonner. Now, Bonner might play a half without Sinclair at halfback, but I can see the second half with him at halfback. So this is going to be interesting. Will be very interesting, guys. We might have to start making plans to get freaking Riley Bonner in our team next week. Oh, I don't want to think about it. All right. Richmond and Port. Jordan Sweet. Is Jordan Sweet? Yeah, last guy on interchange. Get out of here, Jordan Sweet. You ain't seeing the light of day. Get out of here. Dill Williams, Jace Burgoyne, Mitch Georgiades. Any of these guys on field? Burgoyne is here. Williams is here. Georgiades is here. Yep. I can't see any of these guys playing, to be honest. Meanwhile, Tyler Young injured. Gipkus injured. Prestia injured. Oh, this kid was good. I saw him in person in the Melbourne game. He looked really dangerous. I liked him. I hope he plays, but it's unlikely. There has been no real announcements about him. Seth Campbell, extended interchange. Be wary of that. Ryan here. Tom Brown here. Ben Miller's here. Sam Banks also here. Judson Clark here. Yeah, none of these guys are confirmed to be playing then. I wouldn't be looking into this too deeply. West Coast, yeah. Next week, Martin out if Shitsbed Bonner in. It seems like it, Velo. Unfortunately for me, I need to fix my backline ASAP. How is Burns at 50 games? I don't know, Jack. Any St Kilda fans in here that can elaborate on how Burns is at 50 games? I've got no idea. Hopefully, Bonner looks better than Wang Malira back there. Hopefully, we'll see. And then Eagles, obviously, there's no Allen. Tyrell Dewar. Dewar? Do you know Dewar? I don't know Dewar. Nick Haynes, personal reason. That's pretty sad. Keith, McMullen, Peatling, and Angwin. Are any of these guys on field? Angwin here. Peatling here. McMullen here. Keith here. Okay, they're all here. They're all here. So that's no big deal. And then for Eagles, Barnett here. Oh.
Harry Barnett.
Where's Jermaine Jones? Jermaine Jones on field. All right. So Jermaine Jones looks like he's playing.
You know who isn't on field, though? Is Cadman.
He is on field.
You know who's not on field is Big Cadman. So
Oh,
hopefully he's not dropped. I know, but just in case.
None of these guys are key forwards. Cadman is safe. Ryan Marich is here. All right. So really only Jermaine Jones seems to be locked in. He's here on the bench, on the field. Interesting. Very interesting. And I think Gaff might be out. I think Gaff is gone. Tommy Green, my captain. Let's go. I can't wait. Hey, boys. Hey, Hayden. Would you go Massimo and Berry or Billings and Caulfield?
Massimo and Berry. I'd do the first one. For me, the first one, I think, is a little bit more certain with Berry. I think Berry's a much better player than Caulfield. So, yeah, I'm not certain on Billings, to be honest. But I could be swayed. I could definitely be swayed. There's a lot of things that could happen, and nothing's stopping me from going a Sharp to a Billings if I have to.
Do you think Thomas could be dropped with that extended bench?
Yeah. Yep.
I think are any of these guys small? I think Angwin might be. What's Angwin? What position? Versatile footballer. Okay, he's a versatile player. Good to know. 1.85.
Yeah, 185.
All right, that could be a small. James Peatling. He's not a small. James Peatling is a breakout.
Roll down.
9 goals. Oh, he's a forward. Shit.
Mm-hmm.
Mid-season draftee, medium forward. Yeah, he's a medium forward, not a small forward. That's all right. Toby McMullen. 183 athlete. Mid. Okay, cool. That's fine. And then Lockie Keefe is not going to play small either. So
should just get Velo on the show. He can tell us all the goals.
Yeah, our special correspondent Velo, the Carlton man. Yeah, I don't know. I think Harvey Thomas should play. I don't see a reason why they would change what's clearly working and has been working very well. So for me, I think he should play. But if he doesn't, it's because I trust Kingsley to make the right decision.
Yeah, for me too.
Week 2 trades. Wines to Shees. If Wines low, time on ground again. Moving Dacos mid. Campbell to Dempsey. And find a way to get in Bonner if needed.
Sure.
McMullen was sub round 0. There you go. I stupidly picked Thomas in my team because I went cheap. I'm just nervous now. Yeah. It's true.
Yeah,
you would be nervous.
And that's one of the things. I 100% jumped off him just for that, basically for that reason. I think we didn't really get any good 117k players this year, and it's a bit sad. So, yeah.
And Nick Martin to James Jordan. I've got all the other cash generators, including Hogan. Save the money made for Harry Mackay. Cool. Very nice. Very nice, Hayden. Go for it.
I won't say that I'm going to get Harry Mackay next week because it might not happen, but we'll see.
Who would be a sub for the North game? Asks Freddie.
Oh, I think Lazaro. If I was this coach, I may put Lazaro as the sub. Zach Fisher sub. Zach Fisher sub would be the funniest thing I've seen.
Zach Fisher sub would be glorious.
But Lazaro, it comes back to what we were saying about what was it? Caleb Windsor is just like we look at maybe forward, maybe. But I think Lazaro offers too much. He can play wing, he can play forward, he can play mid. So there's 3 of the 4 spots basically on the field that he covers if he's out. That would be my pick, especially with a poor form game last week. I think it would be good. Tucker definitely could be pick of the sub as well.
So essentially what we got down to is that 3 different people could be the sub.
Mate, half the team could be the sub. Probably not Nick Larkey. Nick, I don't think Cherry is going to be the sub. Probably not Harry Sheasel or Bailey Scott. Probably not going to be the sub. But
Night Wolf Shorts, how's it going? First time I've seen a comment from you, Night Wolf. Welcome aboard. Who has better job security, Clark or Campbell? So this is Seth Campbell and Jai Clark, I reckon he's saying. I reckon Jai Clark, bro, Jai Clark scored 13 last week and he's still named. I think that's pretty damn good.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
So, plus they got the injury. Wait, where's Geelong? Yeah. Plus they got the injury to Tanner Bruin as well. So that's another contested ball winner out the window. And you look where Jai Clark is named. Now, again, we don't give a shit where they're named because you can't trust anything to do with these lists. But the moral of the story is that Jai Clark has been named on field with another injury despite having a shocking game last week where he scored 13 points. I think if you can survive that, I reckon he's got decent security. That's just what I think.
Yeah, that's fair.
Hey, did you notice Flanders is an orange? Flanders is an orange? Not the fruit orange, I imagine.
No. He's named as emergency. Not that
Where?
he's not
How is he?
I mean,
how is he an orange? I don't understand.
On Sundays, if you're on the interchange/bench, you're all counted as emergency. I haven't named their team until tomorrow.
He means in the super coach thing.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I thought. I
It's just
don't know why I
he's
didn't
just not
understand.
named on field. Yeah.
He's an orange. He's an orange. Peel him and eat him. He's an orange. Campbell on extended bench. Yeah, I sort of spoke about that. Yeah, Billings or Bonner, mate. I guess we'll find out after tonight if you need to get Bonner in or not. Because the thing is, Bonner isn't on the bubble, so you can't afford to wait for him. Is the thing, but if he maintains the role with Sinclair in the team, then you need him. Next week, you will need him. I might have to reverse my trades and pick both Seth Campbell and Harvey Thomas. Good luck with that. They were dumb picks anyway. Fair enough. Are you guys trading Martin? I have. If you've seen our video, Freddie, from last night, these are my changes. Martin and Fisher are down to Billings and Jordan, so I can have enough money to get Gibkiss up to Sheasel. And then the team looks like this. Going into the round, let me just remove the comment there. And now I've got 4 premiums in the back line. I've still got 4 premiums here. And I'm looping between the good option of whatever happens on the weekend. And then I've got an extra rookie here. So it's not the best looking team, definitely. It could be better if a lot of money has been put into a few premiums. It's very guns and rookies. I really need these guns to actually perform like guns in order to warrant their selection. If they do perform like guns, then having the extra rookies on the field isn't too big of a deal. Because I think Darcy Wilson should perform well tonight, and I think I can get a decent score out of whoever is here. So, yeah, that's basically what my team looks like. Nick Martin is out of my team.
Fair enough. Are you worried about the likes of a Buku Karmas, Joe? Because you're one of the few people that I've seen that actually have him in their side. Do you think he'll be good enough to keep for a little while and then you'll offload him, or what's the pick with him?
I like Buku Karmas. I think he was up against a tough opposition. He was playing on Ben Brown last week, and Ben Brown's way too big for him. And really, the Demons really well and truly got on top of them as the game wore on. What I liked about Buku was even as the game continued to progress, he got more comfortable with actually presenting as an option for people to pass the ball to. And he was involved in kicking the ball out of the back line, and he had no clangers. So he did a really good job picking the right targets. He wasn't super overly ambitious and try and go for some risky kicks. He stayed in his lane and made sure that his disposal efficiency was fine. So I think
He nearly gave up.
Given that tough matchup plus his first outing, for him to score a 51, I'm pretty happy with that, to be honest. Hopefully he can keep his spot, and if he does, I think he'll make me decent money sitting on the bench.
Nice. Do you think he must get DPP, right?
Yes, he'll get defensive DPP, absolutely. Yeah. And so that means, if Reed comes back but is no good, for example, struggles, we could trade out a Reed if he can't get back in, and then we can send Karmas here and then maybe pick up a good forward rookie if they emerge in the future.
Fair enough.
13 points, but 13 touches. 100% agree, Jack. 100% agree. Ippo! How's it going, you sexy man? Hopefully a better week for us all. 100%. I really hope holding on to Nick Martin and Fisher works out for you, Hippo. I really do. You're one of the few calm heads, which is bizarre because you like to tear into people. So for you to be backing in these players, well done to you. That's character growth right there. Much love, brother. Much love. Billings only plays well when team is dominating. Did they dominate in the preseason game? Did they dominate in the preseason? Melbourne. Where's Melbourne? I'm freaking blind as shit. Where's Melbourne? There. Melbourne defeated Carlton by a decent amount. And what did he score? Where's Billings? 91, 17 disposals. It's not like he went bananas, Ian. And that's the thing. Like, he doesn't need to go bananas. 5 marks. Like, he plays high up the ground, lead up target. No one's ever going to put any attention into him because he's so non-damaging. He plays his best at the G. I'm willing to back him in for regular 80s. I'm not expecting big numbers for him, but if he just gives us 80s every week, then I think he'll make us his money for sure. Out of the rookies Richmond have, how likely do you think Seth Campbell is going to get a game? Well, McKelty isn't a small. He's a big boy.
Oh, yeah. But he could easily come in for a Campbell. I think Campbell's game last week wasn't fantastic, and he's probably one of the ones that needs to be a bit careful that careful Campbell. Make sure that he doesn't get kicked out.
I think the issue with Campbell might be with the return of Sonzi.
Yeah, probably.
Kasonzi would be playing if not for his suspension. So, yeah. I think Seth Campbell's days are numbered, Steve.
Yeah. Poor disposal efficiency doesn't help him either, especially in a tight loss. 7 clangers, 46% DE doesn't spell well for a guy that you want to, and 2 frees against as well. Doesn't really show a lot. Yeah, potentially he's one that ends up as a sub or, a couple of weeks and then he's out the door. So be a bit careful, I guess.
Oh, I think Buka might get dropped when we face a forward line that has 2 big forwards like Geelong. When do they play Geelong, Steve? When are they playing Geelong? Please tell me not soon. Buku Kamis. Oh, shit, they're playing him after West Coast. Oh, no. Well, hopefully he scores well against West Coast. I hope he scores well against West Coast, makes me money, and then we can flick him off then. Jeez, I'm nervous now. Steve, you got me terrified. Hayden, that's $1 million question. Tom Berry or Jack Billings? If money isn't a factor. Look, for me, I'm just going to hold on to Billings up until his bye. If he's giving me 80s, if you just give me a regular 80 every week, that's not an issue. I'm happy to hold him up until we get to his bye and then flip him off to whoever is available, right? And he's a safe, fieldable option. I'm not sure how fieldable Berry is.
Yeah. I think one of the big things too is that you really have to come into it with the starting price and how much money they are. Tom Berry, if it doesn't work, there's not that much, there's not that many options. Whereas Billings, cool, you get a bit of a price rise, and then there's so many that you guys could swap him to. Yeah, there's a few players there.
I mean, he's only played 6 games, 2 games, 6 games. I mean, he's not a great footballer. I mean, if he was...
I think he's had injuries.
He would have played more. Really? You reckon injuries is the reason why he hasn't played more than 6 games any particular season, despite him being in the system for 4 years now?
I mean, Brisbane's a pretty tough team to get into.
Yeah, but come on, bro. I don't know. If he plays a good half-forward role, I don't know, maybe. Maybe it was tough. Maybe I'm being harsh on the kid, but no one's ever considered him up until this week. You know what I mean? He was in no one's consideration up until this week. Absolutely nobody. Whereas Billings was in everybody's preseason, or most people's preseason sides, even our preseason sides. So I'm willing to back in the preseason research personally, then go with some random unknown who's just come out of the blue. 6 kicks, no handballs, 17 disposals. Those conditions were horrendous last week. They were absolutely horrendous. They perfectly suited someone with no speed. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to say Billings personally for myself. Jack, only 18 scored with a loop. So you get to find 6 good scores from 13 players. You only need 4 more good scores. Jack, it's 13, 6. Yeah, true. Actually, you're right. Freddie, would you trade Fisher or Martin? As I think Martin has better job security, but Fisher has a better role. I don't know. I think Nick Martin had the better role, playing the Nick Dacos role. But for me, I just think, we'll look at the weather again.
You and your bloody weather, Joe. Watch out, the weather's coming.
It was raining on Saturday.
Yeah, it was.
All right, the rain. Oh, there's some precipitation in the afternoon. Oh, morning. Should be drained by then. But the problem is the dew. It's going to be dewy. It's a warm night, and you have dew at 16 degrees. So on a smaller ground, the ball's going to be like a bar of soap, and it's going to be hard to hit targets. And we've seen what happens when Nick Martin can't hit targets. So I don't want to have that happen to me again. If he pops off, then it's likely means that Essendon get the win, and I'll still be happy. Even if he's traded out, I'm still happy from a real life perspective that my team won. But I don't know. He's not for me. Not at this stage. I'm sure he'll get cheaper, and he'll get the DPP in the future. So I'm happy to wait to get him back in later. Hold Clark or up to Berry have 253. I reckon hold Clark, Tommy.
If you don't have to spend a trade, chuck in Berry.
Nah. I reckon hold Clark. Use that money next week if you have to get Bonner and Fife, for example.
You have enough money. You've got 253 because so it goes down to 200k. Like you should have enough.
Yeah, but if you want to get both Bonner, who's 280, they're both 280k.
Yeah,
that's a lot of money.
That's true.
Well, I'm not sure because I want to trade a Rook to Berry, but not sure if Clark, Sanders, or Mana. That's
Sanders, the problem here, though. When you go pod picks in a few of these guys, like a lot of people had Clark, but not many had Mana, especially with him kind of being the sub risk. You end up getting stuck because of it. I think Mana did all right in terms of scoring last week. Let me just quickly check before I put my foot in it.
I think Sanders in my trade plans next week. Though.
Yeah.
I
think Sanders has the best job security. I would probably get rid of Mana. If I had to choose, I would get rid of Mana out of those three, followed by Clark and keep Sanders there. I think Bevo took a lot of flack for Sanders being out as the sub, and I don't think he'll get subbed again, obviously being the more inflated price. There is some form of redemption if you go Sanders down to Berry because you get money and then make money. But I reckon Mana could be dropped at some point. Like, he didn't score much. He only played 26% game time. He was the sub. Like,
Bevo does not care. Bevo does not give a shit what other people say, because if he did, he would have been sacked a long time ago, and he'd be playing McRae. But he's not. Bevo is a loose cannon. He's not gonna. He doesn't give a shit about the flack that he cops from the media.
Yeah, I think McRae's in a spot of bother though. I think McRae's kind of on the outer of the team, and there might have been some off-field problems that
Yeah, there are off-field problems. Bevo, Freddie. Also trades right now, Gipkiss, Martin, and Fisher for Luke Ryan, Bill, and Dempsey. Bank 65k for Bonner or Lions if needed. Sure. I don't like Berry at all. His role is trash.
Yeah.
Potentially. We have Keith waiting in the wing. Potentially. Hopefully that gets rid of Caulfield. Always had Campbell out after round 2. Thought it was too hard to get all the forwards right and wanted to get a tiny pump and correct after he popped. Fair enough.
You're only going to get a tiny pump, though, because he scored like a 70 and a 30. So you're not going to get much of a pump, Jack, unfortunately.
Sean Manor might not be sub. Is that an option? If he's not the sub, then I love him. As a selection, I'll be trading him in next week as well. Like, if he's not the sub, yeah, 100%. I'm bringing
Manor in. No.
Bro, he's good.
Come on, Joe.
Sean Manor is really good, bro. He really, really is. Believe me. If he plays, man, he hardly played last week. He hardly played last week.
Who are you going to trade out? What? Cadman for Manor?
Potentially. Or Buku Kamis or whoever. I don't know. Someone has to come out for this guy. He barely played a quarter and scored 30. Yeah. With no goals.
Yeah, 30's not much.
In a quarter.
I don't know.
What's 30 times 4, Big J? Quick maths.
He must have done something really weird because he's only got 40% efficiency too. So
2 tackles, 5 kicks. Some of them were ineffective, but no clangers. I like it. If he doesn't have a great score, if he doesn't have a great stat sheet with very little time on ground, and yet he still pulled out a 30 to quarter time, I like him. At 117k, he's a mature body. He's unlikely to break down. If he's not the sub, I like him.
Mm-hmm.
He's in my team. I'm thinking to get Marshall, but don't know when. Maybe after Grundy's bye. Yes. Craze fit. N. Martin, I hate that bozo gone by. Sure. Steve, why are you guys driving an American car in your thumbnail, steering wheel on the wrong side?
Come on, Steve. People had a go at me because we were on the wrong side of the road. Now we're driving an American car. Come on, we'll have to fix that up too next week, Joe.
You need to work on these thumbnails, bruv.
Sorry, Steve. Maybe we're on tour. Maybe that's the problem.
Leaning towards fading Berry now because all these rooks could still make money. Correct. They could. Pat, Ford will be the sub for North.
Potentially.
There you go. Ralphie, trade Jane Bunn for Joe. And now cutting across to Joe with the weather. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, freaking SCG. It's all about the SCG.
If you haven't seen his Joe's appeared on AFL 360, so he's already got the pedigree.
Centre bounce going international now. Let's go, boys. Let's go.
Next time AFL goes overseas, they should just take us along.
100%. If Sean Manor is not sub, he should score 60 plus. Agreed, Bello. Agreed. I love this kid. He's not even a kid. He's 25,000 years old. He'll be fine. Squeak, Gibkiss to Massimo or Hoare. Get Hoare.
Yeah, we've got to be careful. I think Hoare potentially could be the sub. So we'll just wait and see what happens with that. But
you literally just said you could only play intercept.
I know. Maybe I'll take it back. But yeah, it doesn't sit right with me. That's all.
Nothing sits right with you. You're back for North Melbourne. What could possibly sit right for you?
Thanks.
Your hat is off by 4 degrees. What is going on in the chat? Stop the weird complaining. I don't know what's going on here. Talking about the. I have no idea what's going on now. Mass has better job security. Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
I'd be very happy to see how he goes for one more week, Velo. I want to see how he goes for one more week before he's on the bubble. And if he doesn't work out, then that would suck because where do you go to then? Because I don't think many people will have defensive DPP in the midfield.
Yeah, which is the tricky part as well. So I said at the start of the video, you've really got to come in and start to lock in these players because we might end up getting some guys and right now we've got 2 rookies who have some job security and that's it. So if Massimo doesn't work, if we're going to be locked into Hayden Young for a while now, so just be careful.
Fading Heaney, Berry keeping Fish, Martin, Wines, fingers crossed, but very scared. Mate, it's if that's right and you end up getting a nice bounce back from all 3 of those players, you hold on to your trades, hold on to your boost. If it works, then you're absolutely flying, Hippo, and I really hope it does work for you. Really, I do. From the bottom of my heart, bro.
If it doesn't work, we're going to see a, gosh, Heaney went big type video coming out Sunday afternoon when, Super Coaches opened and whatnot. So it's always good for the content anyway. I'm personally, Hippo, keeping Martin and Wines for another week just because I've kind of locked in some rookies beforehand. But both of those guys at the moment are on the trade table. I've got 3 premiums who I'm not happy about. It's Young, Martin, and Wines. And unfortunately, I think my 2 midfielders are the ones that probably aren't going to be able to bounce back in scoring. So they've got to go for me.
Yep. I need a Heaney. I'm holding out for a Heaney till the end of round 5. We could if you wanted to, but we're still reading some things. You boys know I played a few games for Hawthorn. I think they'll go on my first game. No way, Jack. Let's have a. If that's the case, then you should be in DFS. Oh, there is a Jack Saunders.
Yeah.
Is this your face, Jack?
That'd be cool.
Is this who you be? Where's his face gone?
You lost him.
Is this you? Oh, that's awesome. You played 1 game and kicked 1 goal.
There you go.
So this is not you. This is not you. I played a few games for Hawthorn. You only played 1 game for Hawthorn. You lie.
In the seniors. Does it have the other games? It has VFL in there, doesn't it? Yeah. Played a few VFL and some Sandful games. It's not too bad. I'd be pretty happy. You know, most AFL players do not play a game, Joe, before they get delisted.
What? He played one.
There you go.
86% disposable efficiency, 75% time on ground, coming off the bench. Let's have a look at that heat map.
Come on, Jack.
This
Mate,
heat map
that
is
really is
good.
coming off the bench, isn't it, Joe? His heat map was right in front of the bench.
This heat map is not good. It's not a good heat map. Don't think that's we're just kidding, Jack. Just kidding. Oh, mate, that's mad. That's really sick, mate. Oh, I love it. I don't know what the hell happened there. What do we do if 5 goes 100 plus again?
You got to
I'm
get
not
him in.
trading him in, Harry. I'm a man of integrity. I'm not trading him in.
I may trade him in. I am more than happy to go Bonner and Fife and offload the guys that I was going to offload and potentially get in some keepers in the back line or just bank. You know, I can go a couple of weeks of, 600K in the bank. So I'm more than happy to prepare to be able to do that. It is something a bit weird, but, you know, I could go Fife, Wines down to 5, 3 weeks, Fife ends up 350K. Cool. Or maybe even closer to 400. And then I can go grab a Caleb Sarong or someone else who's, you know, around that 620, 630 mark. So something to really consider there. Fife has it in him to do it. Bonner definitely has it in him to do it with the new role. So just something to really gauge over the next week.
Very well. Hoare or Dawson for North? Nah, Hoare.
Yeah, 100% Hoare.
Bazalinka. First time I think I've read your name. Welcome.
Yeah.
Z Will via DPP. Fisher Tahini. Thoughts? No. Don't trade out Williams. Don't do that.
Yeah. A lot of people, and I think
-4.
a few other content creators are saying, oh, yeah, get rid of Zach Williams, blah, blah, blah. But limited to no preseason, coming off, major injuries and things like that. He's coming off his bye. I don't think he's going to be a big problem.
Oh, Sarong and 400
Yeah.
700 in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Potentially, Dan. Potentially. All right, guys. I think on that note, we'll call it a night. Thank you guys so much for joining, for watching. Hope you had a great time. I know I did. And much love. Thank you guys so much for all your support, helping us get to 2K subscription. Is absolutely amazing. Onwards and upwards to the next one. And really hope you guys stick with us because we are continuing to do all of the things that you've loved us for up until this point.
Guys, if you haven't already, check out our Facebook. You can post all your questions and stuff on there. Just hit that chat button and then you can start and chat with us. We generally check it, twice a day, things like that if new things come up. So if you want to keep up with your questions during the weekend and early in the week, 100%. We normally release our team review videos on Sunday afternoon as well after the last game. So stay tuned for that if you can.
100%, guys. So best of luck with your week. No catastrophizing. It is just a game at the end of the day. Make sure you enjoy the footy. Enjoy your teams. Make sure you barrack hard, barrack strong. And, Dan, 100%. Well done. Well done to you too as well. Freo going to beat you boys. I'm sorry, North. It's not going to happen. You're going to lose.
We'll see.
I'm not that, Jack. I'm a 32-year-old. I knew it. I had a feeling, Jack. I had a feeling. But see you guys all in the next one. Make sure you hit that notification bell to not miss out on any of the things that we are pumping out this preseason. Enjoy the footy.
Catch you in the next one.